Hello everybody, welcome back to the channel. I finally was able to get them videos uploaded and everything, so thank God that he blessed him to upload them and all that. I don't know what was going on. So, but we're going into part 21. I believe this is when he's dealing with Zechariah. I think that's his name. Zacchaeus, I think. Zacchaeus. It's hard for me to say. It's going to be called Man in a Tree, based on Luke chapter 19, verse 1 through 35, and John chapter 12, verse 1 through 8. Zacchaeus, the wealthy tax collector, is so short that he can't look over the heads of the people in the crowd. Remember, Jesus has come to Jerusalem. I believe it's, let's see, the Travelers movie. Yeah, so he's going towards Jerusalem. Now he's in Jericho. And there's crowds of people listening to him and things. And Zacchaeus, the tax collector, is too short to be able to see over anybody. So he runs ahead of the crowd and climbs in a sycamore tree, so he can see Jesus. When Jesus comes to the tree, and that's pretty dedication. He's like, hey, I want to see and listen to this guy. Zacchaeus, come down. I'm going to stay at your house today. Zacchaeus immediately comes down out of the tree and shows Jesus the way to his house. Jesus is going to stay at a sinner's house? Why would he do that? So Zacchaeus is a sinner. I believe he even stole from people in tax collecting. Has made him a very rich man. So he is a sinner in things, but there's always a reason, as we learned before, why Jesus does spend a lot of time with sinners. Being with Jesus helps Zacchaeus know that he has done a lot of wrong things. See, he wants to change. I'm going to give. Sorry, I'm here. My bad. Salvation has come to your house today. You were lost, and I came to save you. I'm going to give half of what I own to the poor, 4 times what I owe to anyone I've cheated. So now that Jesus spoke with him, he sits down at Zacchaeus' house, and even though people are complaining, he has made Zacchaeus realize what he has been doing is wrong. He has been sinful, and we all fail, even as Christians. You might be Christian for 40 years total, all the way total of your death or whatever. And even in the middle of that, you're gonna fail, unfortunately, and you're gonna sin. It's unfortunate, but the Lord will forgive you and He will help you. You just got to remember the promise that you made to Him. That's something I found that helpful. If I can remember the promise I've made to God, then it helps me, resist temptations and things. So He's going to give half of what He has to the poor. He's going to give 4 times as much as anybody he's ever cheated out of money. From Jericho, the crowd continues to From Jericho, the crowd continues the trip to Jerusalem for the great Passover feast. The festival is still 6 days away, so Jesus stops in Bethany to visit his friends Mary and Martha and Lazarus. At a supper in the home of Simon the leper, Mary kneels and pours expensive oil over Jesus' feet and wipes his feet with her hair. Judas Iscariot, treasury of the disciples, thinks this is a waste of money. We could have sold that perfume and give in a year's worth of money to the poor. Leave her alone, as Jesus says. The poor will always be here for you to help, but I won't always be here. She's showing her love. Jesus remembers and knows his fate. That's why he says, leave her alone. Judas doesn't really care about the poor. He is thinking about the money. He is thinking about the money because, and now he claims to say, the less money they waste, the more I can have for myself. No one will ever know. So he's really upset because he's greedy for money. He wants money, you know. And I'm sure a lot of you know the fate of Judas, the fate of Judas. If you don't, you will hear soon. It's unfortunate. And, you know, so he's being very greedy over himself. The next day, Jesus joins the crowd going to Jerusalem to prepare for the Passover feast on the way. Go to that village. When you get there, you will find a donkey's colt tied up. Bring it to me. If anyone asks, just tell them the Lord needs it. 2 disciples find the young donkey just as Jesus said. When they start to untie it, the owner comes out. Why are you untying the colt? The Lord needs it. The owner gives permission and the disciples take the colt back to Jesus. I wonder why Jesus wants my colt. No one has ever ridden it. It's not even a very noble beast for anyone as important as Jesus to ride, as he thinks. And now we'll start Palm Sunday. You know, he's going to Jerusalem for this big festival, Passover feast. And I'm sure everybody's heard I've heard him riding on that donkey. I've heard that part of the story a lot of times, but it actually has been a while since I heard it. I think you hear it more as a kid. You know, a lot of times you learn more about Jesus as a kid, and then you learn more about like revelations, and sometimes you know, if you will, the scary parts, and things like that as you get older, because you understand them parts more. It's very good that children learn about Jesus and things like that. I think they should start with that, and then even with Adam and Eve, and after that move into, the older you get, gradually move into, you know, some of the other stories, and then moving into like Revelations is a big thing, even Solomon, you know, with his great wisdom, and then especially like Apostle Paul and things. I've actually been reading Apostle Paul, and there's a great movie of him as well. You should just be able to look up Apostle Paul movie. I believe it's called that, but I can't quite remember. It's a great movie, and I definitely recommend it. He says some great, wonderful things, and that's just to go to show, so let anybody know. You know, people who are sitting in prison can still go to heaven. People that, you know, that have done very wrong can still go to heaven. Even murderers can go to heaven. I believe that because Paul himself was a murderer. He killed Timothy. He had him stoned to death. Then he went over and killed tons of Christians and things like that before he became a Christian himself. And he'd become almost like a completely different man, like a new soul was in his body, and he was no longer even the same person. You know, God can change anybody, and that's the truth. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please share it, and share Jesus' story. Thank you guys. I'll see you on Thursday.